Hi, I'm Bersercules, the Berserk Herc, and today I'll be reviewing Superman's pal Jimmy Olsen, number 35, Story 1, called The Menace of Superman's Fan Mail. What the fuck? The action splash panel for this issue is Jimmy typing answers to mail while thinking about Superman? How is this exciting? It's answering the mail! They just made a comic book about someone answering the mail! Fuck! All-time low for this comic. The excitement in this story that warrants the splash panel is Jimmy typing answers to questions about Superman. And I thought eating food was boring. And why does Jimmy have his eyes closed as he thinks of Superman? Is he always daydreaming about Superman? Why is he not beating up a gang of dinosaurs? So the story starts as Jimmy collects a bunch of mail that comes in asking about Superman, then proceeds to answer it. Wow, this is exciting. Most fantastic story ever. Soon, as Jimmy reads his first question, Dear Jimmy Olsen, as a deep-sea diver, I've been undersea for hours at a time. Just how long can Superman stay underwater? James Hardy. Dear Mr. Hardy, Superman can survive indefinitely without air to breathe. Once, as a charity stunt, Superman submerged himself in a tank and, yes folks, Superman has been underwater for 1 week without coming up once. He could stay there all his life if he wanted to. Superman stayed a whole week underwater for a stunt? What the fuck? Who saved people in that week when he was too busy being on display? Could you imagine seeing that picture in the newspaper the same week as your friend fell off a building? Jeepers! Super priorities! And is that one of them newfangled waterproof newspapers? Cool! He could stay there all his life if he wanted to. Well, he does like neglecting his duties and hanging out under the sea. Heck, maybe that's his retirement plan. The next letter asks, what is the longest distance Superman ever bored his way underground? Wow, who knew the ins and outs of letter reading could be so captivating and exciting? Why are there so many car chases and explosions in movies when they could be answering the mail? I can answer that by telling how Superman once had occasion to start in America, bore through the entire Earth for 800 miles, and come up in Australia at the other side of the Earth. Superman bored through the Earth? Holy fuck! Couldn't that possibly wreck the integrity of Earth's structure? Isn't that endangering everyone? Does he just super not care? I mean, seriously, why would he need to bore through the Earth? He could just fly around it, like, in an instant. What the hell? And if he went through the whole world, how come the map depicts the Earth as solid ground? Wouldn't Super have noticed all the magma in the center of the Earth and told others? What the fuck? Or did he just super lie about doing it? Did he add a lot of Earth to his sentence when he said it? And if he started in America, how come the picture shows him starting in Africa? Did the writers and artists of this comic have superwits or something? What's the geography? And of course when he came out in Australia, there were kangaroos. If he'd come out in Mexico, there'd have been some guy in a sombrero sleeping against a building. And if he came out in China, there'd be some yellow-skinned people in a parade with a giant dragon. I'm Canadian, eh? I drink lots of beer, I wear moccasins, and this is my igloo. So Jimmy continues to answer question after question. Wow, fucking awesomest issue ever. Jeepers, maybe I should be answering questions too. So I guess it's time for Berserk Herc Mail. Here are some letters got sent. Ficky McFakerson writes, I watch a lot of review shows on the internet, and I've been wondering, how long have you been making shitty reviews? About since November or December of 2009. And here's another letter, this one from Random Name, who asks, if I was a carpenter and you were a lady, would you marry me anyway, and would you have my baby? No. Quite thrilling, eh? Fuck explosions and crisp dialogue. Reading letters is where it's at. Fucking awesome! And to make things more exciting, if that's possible, the Man of Steel gets in on the action and answers some mail too. Super mail! And of course he does it in a glass room so people can watch him. Wow, Soup really likes to be watched. No wonder he wears skin-tight undies. Super exhibitionist! So answering his super mail, Soup answers questions about such things as his super shouts, and does so at super speed. I'll open up letters and read questions at the rate of 12 per second, and answer them by typing 10,000 words per minute. So using the typewriter that fast doesn't melt it, or jam it? And why is Soup narrating what he's doing to himself? That's just creepy. But then, that night, covered by darkness, an enemy of Superman visits the drop box. Lab Logan, fugitive from the law. Holy crap! A Superman villain? Finally! I was beginning to wonder when we'd see one. Wait, who's Lab Logan? A villain, but an unknown one. Better than nothing, and only 4 pages in! If Superman answers these 3 questions I'm asking, he'll die. Police will never trace me later because I'll put false names and addresses on the return envelopes, and no one will guess how I killed Superman. Ha ha. Huh, green envelopes? And only kryptonite can kill Superman. Let me guess. You used napalm, spinach, bathing salts, or maybe kryptonite, you fucking asshat! And they'll be able to trace you because your fingerprints will be on the letters. Dumbass Logan. How can mere questions threaten Superman's life? The next day, as Jimmy brings the mail to the showroom... wait, so we the audience weren't supposed to figure out it's going to be kryptonite? Seriously? Is that going to be the big reveal later? Fuck! So Soup gets a big bag of white letters and starts to go through them, starting first with the green enveloped letter. Submitted by Labs Logan under a false name. Dear Superman, what is the hottest temperature you ever survived? John Smith. John Smith? Jeepers! That's not an obviously fake and lame name. Why not just use John Hancock? Heck, the name Fakey McFakerson sounds more like a legit name, and I use that as a joke. So Labs Logan then watches as Superman answers the question, then licks the envelope. On patrol later, Superman picks up an urgent alarm at the airport. Why is that guy piggybacking Superman? Hold on, I'll read the dialogue. One of our airliners is heading into a sudden storm, but we can't warn them. Their radio is dead. You can overtake the plane at super speed, Superman. I'll come along. Nope. No reason for him to be piggybacking Superman. Does Soup just let anyone jump on his back and take along? Or does that guy just take too much liberty and Soup's too nice to tell him to super fuck off? Or are they secretly gay? 'Cause that would solve a lot. I've turned weak somehow and lost my full super speed. Is gay sex your kryptonite? 'Cause if it is, don't wear those tights. And just look at this picture. It looks like Soup is sweating while that guy rides him hard, like a jockey would ride a horse, or a gay man another gay man. Was the artist for this comic some gay man who wanted to see Soup get pounded? Or show his gay friends when he could sneak into the comic? Jeepers! Now to take this pic, I drew of that gay man ass-fucking Superman and draw it into the comic, so you can just barely see it. And then I'll show my friends the published picture and the hardcore version I made beforehand. Kids all over America will be getting a taste of gay porn and not even know it. Super homosexual. So unable to fly the plane in time, Soup uses his X-ray vision to carve into the mountainside. Wait, his X-ray vision can burn into stone? How is he not melting people with it all the time? Or at least cooking them? Warning, bad storm ahead. 'Cause they couldn't see that for themselves? Dark clouds right in front of them not enough? Especially considering their radio is broken? Thanks, Superman, but you flew back slowly, still being weak. Is there kryptonite around? No, my X-ray vision didn't reveal any for miles. It's a complete mystery why I should, be slowing down. So he doesn't realize he's being affected by kryptonite from a green envelope? Because if he secretly knew, he'd be lying right now, and Soup doesn't lie. Except when he uses a lot of ers in his sentence. Oh, and then the radio reports that Superman is suffering from a strange weakness and seems to be losing his super strength. Yeah, that's a good idea. Tell everyone out there that Superman's getting weak. Now all the criminals can go on crime sprees, and all the villains that hate Superman can come and try to kill him. Oh wait, Superman doesn't have any villains. Never mind. So Soup continues to answer the mail. It's good to know they gave Jimmy Olsen his own comic book. Does he ever get to appear in it, though? So another day and another batch of letters. And another green letter. This time from Henry Brown. Gee, what's next? Henry Box Brown gonna show up in the mail in a giant crate? What the fuck? See, that's funny because Henry Box Brown was a black man who escaped slavery in America by mailing himself out of the South. Hey, that would make for an exciting story about the mail. Too bad to use this one instead. And of course, Superman doesn't think twice about the green envelope and how he's getting weak. Yep, super wits. And since he just answered another one of Lab Logan's letters, the story jumps to another danger. Wow, another day, another letter, and another event that needs Superman's help. Wow, super convenient. I'm glad this isn't the week that Superman spent in a glass tank reading the newspaper. All these people would be dead. Our engine failed and the current swept us to the edge of Metropolis Falls. Superman, can you shove us clear? Wow, that one guy in the boat really spells it out. Bersercules then makes a snide comment about the panel, thinking it's comedy gold. But the people at home watching think it's kinda lame. Thanks, Bersercules! Ugh, weak. Lost most of my super strength. Can't stop your ship. It'll plunge over the edge to destruction. Unless... I have an idea. Is it a super idea? I'll use my super breath to super cool the water, forming ice. So your super breath still works fine. Is it not one of your powers? What the? So Superman saves the boat and then heads over to Jimmy Olsen's place. Oh, so Jimmy will be making an appearance in his own comic? Cool! Were you stricken by some super illness that you've never encountered before? Perhaps so, Jimmy. It can't be from kryptonite. My super eyes would quickly detect any of it near me. I think I've just found a drinking game. A super drinking game. Take a drink each time someone says super in one of these stories, and you'll wake up with a super hangover. And the next day, after Lab prepares his third deadly letter, he goes to hand it in person, 'cause that won't fuck things up. Lab then meets some resistance from Jimmy, 'cause Supes meant his quarter for mail that day. Seriously? You couldn't have come in earlier? This is your master plan for fuck's sakes, and you're getting foiled by your own bad planning? Holy shit! Anyway, instead of trying to use a sob story or such not to win over Olsen, he draws his gun and shows his hand, telling Jimmy all about his plans. And now I know why I've never heard of this villain. He's fucking lame! Super lame! Don't drink to that one. Heck, yes, drink whenever I say super. Super, super, super. So at gunpoint, Labs makes Jimmy add his envelope to Soup's pile and... Jimmy, you're gonna kill Superman. No offense, but if it's you die or him, you should take the bullet. If the world's in danger and there's no soup, everyone could die. Your life isn't as important as his. Sorry. Later, when Superman arrives at the showroom to answer his mail, unaware of the two hidden watchers... Wait, so Superman doesn't notice two guys hiding poorly behind his filing cabinet? What the fuck? Superman, with all his superpowers and his super intelligence, can't notice two guys hiding poorly in a room? What the super fuck? Never play hide and seek with Superman. He's super bad at it. Super wits must... Stop that! Jeez, a horror, that's annoying! And then Superman... Fuck! And then Superman slumps over on his desk, dead. Well, that's that then. Goodbye! Superman slumped to his desk. As Jimmy mourns his super friend... Labs Logan mentions that he used the last of his kryptonite solution, which causes Superman to spring up and capture him. Oh my gosh, Superman! Oh my gosh, Superman jumped up, alive and well! Oh my gosh, that guy just narrated what he saw! And all his super strength is back! He's crumpling my gun to bits in his super grip! And I'm reading out loud what this guy is saying out loud about what's happening right in front of his face! So with the villain, if you can even call him that, caught, Superman goes into explanation mode, explaining how he suspected the envelopes to be poisoned and how he faked being sick and lied about things. Shouldn't you have added ers to your sentences when you were lying, Soup? And how he figured out it was Lab's Logan. And it must be nice to have someone to explain things to this time, eh, Superman? Instead of just explaining things to yourself. So with the story basically over, Soup flies off with a bad guy, or a lame guy, and Jimmy takes to answering one more piece of mail. And on a high note, when Jimmy resumes answering questions about his super pal, someone asked, has a criminal ever outwitted Superman? The answer is, no, Superman's super wits. And for when super wits is mentioned, drink 3 times. And you'll soon have super wits. No, Superman's super wits never miss the tiny mistakes that criminals always make. Really? No fucking way! How do you figure that? So that's it. It's now the end. Wow, who knew the ins and outs of letter reading could be so captivating and exciting? Here's one more letter. She's a horror writes, who the fuck am I? You're a character from the movie The Devil's Partner. Your name's never said in the movie, but it's seen written down once. Basically, you're like the devil, but not. So that's it for now. Oh, and don't forget to send any letters, questions, Valentine's cards, or death threats you might have to Bersercules, the Berserk Herc, second dumpster to the left, behind the abandoned warehouse on Fake Street, British Columbia, Canada, F8K 908.